Hey guys, Shane here. Before we get started today, I want to ask you a quick favor. Please hit that subscribe button and give this podcast episode a share on social media so that we can help more families start, build, and grow a membership of their own. We appreciate that so much. Thank you for listening today. And now on to the podcast.
Hey y'all, on today's podcast, Shane helps Flip Your Life community member Anna overcome imposter syndrome and commit to a niche for her online business. Our guest today is community member Anna Harris. Anna is having a hard time committing to her niche and going all in on her online business idea. She's wrestling with some common fears and doubts. Things like, will my idea work? Am I really expert enough to teach this? And what if I build a successful business and then find out I don't love what I'm doing? Listen in as Shane helps Anna overcome each of these fears and does live keyword research to help her build out a content strategy for her new online business. This episode is sure to help you overcome these common fears and is packed with tips you can use to move forward in with your online business as well. It's another awesome coaching call with one of our Flip Your Life members. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again today, and I'm super excited to talk to another real member of the Flip Your Life community so that we can help them take their online dream, their online business, their membership to the next level. And I'm super excited to talk to, all the way from her car, Anna Harris today. Anna, how are you doing?
Hi, thanks so much for having me, you guys.
If you're watching this on YouTube, you get to see that Anna is literally in her car on her lunch break. She is hustling. She is finding time to make things happen. And I'm super excited to help you today on your lunch break. It's like we're having lunch together and we're talking about online business. So before we get started, tell everybody out there in the audience a little bit more about you, a little bit about your background, your family, and what you're doing online.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Syracuse, New York. I've lived in quite a few places, and I currently live in the state of Minnesota. I have 2 kids. My son is 4, my daughter is 2, and I've been with my partner for about 8 years now. I first started listening to you guys in, I think, 2016. So my partner, Jeff, and I had started a residential painting business. He's been a painter his entire life. I have a completely different educational background, but I just thought, if I was, one day I was like, if you teach me how to estimate paint jobs, I feel like we could do this ourselves and start our own business. So once we started doing that, I got hooked on business ownership and I wanted to grow the business and I had all these great ideas, but he didn't want that. He didn't want to grow. He just kind of wanted to do his own thing. So we decided I would just let him paint and I would kind of go find my own thing to do. So I stumbled across you guys and I just stopped listening to all other podcasts and I started listening to you guys only.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. That's probably a good decision. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, it really was. But so then for the past 4 years though, I've just been really struggling with committing to an idea and following it all the way through. I'll do a ton of research and do all this planning. And then when it comes to actually turning on the camera and hitting record and doing something and actually putting myself out there, suddenly I'm really busy and, things, it never ends up happening. And then I change my mind or I think it wasn't a good idea to start with. And I just get all this doubt and I'm just sick of being stuck in that washing machine. I can't get out. I have to get out.
Yeah. So I assume there's been more than one idea start and stop here, right? And you've tried 2 or 3 things, but it never it's like you're walking up to the rabbit hole, but you're not jumping in the rabbit hole, right? You're looking down and going, ooh, I might hit that root or, right. Or I can't see the bottom. I'm not sure if I should do this, right?
Totally. Total fear of failure, I think. But so yeah, I've had a few ideas. So one of the things was I kind of dove into a meditation class, and it helped me actually have my daughter Natalie naturally. I had a completely natural birth that was amazing, and I just absolutely loved that. And so I thought one of my ideas would be to kind of share that process with people and kind of help them also achieve that. So I kind of started that, but then, again, that one fizzled out. But I had just a huge plan. I have notebooks full of ideas and things I was going to do.
You're an entrepreneur. This is what we do, Anna. Listen, I got a notebook full of ideas. I've got 17,000 domain names. I got a message from Namecheap last night, and it was like, "Hey, you've got 32 domains re-registering that next month." And I'm like, "Why? Why do I have that many domains in September? Yeah. Why? Because we're entrepreneurs. Like, you can't stop the ideas from flowing. You just have to hammer one nail until it works, and then maybe you'll get to the other nail someday, right?"
You are my spirit animal. We have so much in common.
That's right. Yeah,
so I need a Jocelyn in my life.
You need a Jocelyn. Well, you've got a Jocelyn in your life in the Flip Your Life community. It's good. We've got a Jocelyn in your life. Exactly. All right. So I also see that you have other domains. Like you've got. Okay, so I'm going to read through here. This might take a while, guys. All right, so we've got what was arrowpaintingmn.com? What was that one?
So Arrow Painting Minnesota. So that was that's our residential painting business. So that's
live. That one. Okay, and then we've got annaharris.com. What's going on with that one right now?
Virtual assistant. So I was wanting to help other companies do the same thing I did with the painting business. So help them deal with their website, help them figure out how to do marketing and just kind of get off the ground.
Okay, so that was basically like paint companies would come to you to run their stuff for them, or you would teach them how to do it themselves?
It was like me doing it for them.
Okay, cool. So it's almost like an agency set up a little bit there, right? Like, ooh, that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Now, you have not done that. You just kind of set it up, right?
So I did start doing social media for a couple of people. One girl, I'm still doing that for her. There was another woman I was just doing other types. She owned like a Shopify account. So I was helping her do various tasks, but I ended up letting her go because I just wasn't passionate about that. That exactly wasn't what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, that was outside of the scope of the painting companies and what you were good at. And basically that's always a danger because you want to take that job because someone's going to give you money, but it's like, oh, this is not fun. All right. And then tell us about waitstaffwisdom.com. That's interesting.
Yep. So I've been serving a waitress on and off since I was like 16. It was one of my first, jobs that I started doing. I've worked my way up. And it was always a job I could fall back on until obviously now. But, I was a server on and off.
There are no servers now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you're taking stuff to the parking lot.
It's different now.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So I was a server on and off through college, on and off through grad school, and eventually I got really, really good at it. It's basically a sales position. So I got really good at upselling, really, really good at customer service. So at the restaurants I would work at, I would always be chosen to be the one to handle like the big parties and just handle more responsibility than other people. So with the waitstaff wisdom, I thought I would kind of teach some of those skills, like how to prioritize your tables, how to upsell in a way that's not pushy, just how to manage your time, how to deal with anxiety, how to approach a table, things like that.
Love it. I know we talked about that one in the community a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I remember, I think you made a post about this or something, and we were talking. I think that's a very interesting idea. Like, I've never heard of anyone doing that, but like, there's a lot of servers who are like, I'm a server. Like, that's what I do. Like, I'm a pro. And like, these people who are like doing big tables in New York, LA, Vegas, Chicago, like even them, like, it's a profession. It's not just I'm a college job, right? And man, they would love to be money. It's great money. Like, if you could raise your tips by 10%, you're talking maybe hundreds or thousands of dollars for those people. So, if you could spend $100 a month on a course or a membership community where you're all like jamming on how to, make more money, that's going to make those people more than $100 a month, like super easy,
Awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. All right, so we got all this going on. I feel like right now you're leaning toward the waitstaff wisdom. That's what you're thinking about right now. You think you've got a winner here?
Yeah, I do. But then, I would waver back and forth between, oh, that's a dumb idea, nobody would pay for that, to then I would just get really amped up about it and be like, no, this is a great idea. People will pay for this. And then I think I've come to this threshold where I'm like, do I keep going? with this, or do I back off and try something else? I haven't had a lot of success with the keyword research part of it. I feel like if I could get some data for myself, it would maybe be enough to put me over the edge. I think the
but
other
you
thing
can't. Go ahead.
I think the other thing I'm afraid of is committing and then like creating this community, and then like what if it's not something I'm passionate about, or what the commitment part scares me too. Like, what if I do get a following? What if it is successful? Then what do I do?
Well, remember, we always have choices. Like if I ever at any moment didn't want to do Flipped Lifestyle, I would stop. Right? I mean, I just would. If this, like right now, it's a deep burning passion in my soul to help other families do what we did. Right? But if it ever got to that point, then something would change. Now that doesn't mean the company would go away. I might, I eventually have like a 5 to 10 year plan to even remove me from the podcast. Maybe I'll hire a host who can come in. I'll, do an interview process and find someone that, has the same vibe as me, has the same experience as me, and I hire them to host this podcast. Like everyone's replaceable, right? And every decision can be unwound. I think that's what most people don't realize about their life, because we're really trained to be at work, do this thing, show up on time. Nothing can waver. You have to, once you start something, you have to finish it. But when you're an entrepreneur, that is not true. You can pivot, you can evolve, you can change, or you can quit. Like I'll quit if I have to. We have closed down profitable websites to focus on other things in the past. One reason we sold elementarylibrarian.com, for example, was because Jocelyn got far enough away from being a librarian where she was like, yeah, I'm out of the loop now. I don't really feel like I'm a librarian anymore. And she didn't feel good about leading the community. So we sold it. Like, what if you could sell wait staff wisdom? If you build it to sell in the beginning, where you like, this brand is really right now built around me and Jocelyn. Right.
Right.
It would take us about 6 months to pivot that. Right. We could eventually do it. Like we could, do other things, build other systems, create other support mechanisms in the community. We could hire hosts for the podcast, and you'll have a dip. Something will change, but there'll be new people that come in that eventually never knew how it was. Right. And that's kind of what you have to think about when you're building these websites is, can you build it to sell? Can you pivot it? Do you have a plan in place for that? But another thing I really want to stress is, listen, you don't know. You don't know. There's no way to know until you do it. And like, until you fail miserably or you succeed and it gets overwhelming, we're always constantly changing every 3 months what we're doing. Right. And online business is like that. And I know that's easy. It's simple to say, but not easy to do. But you do have to jump into the rabbit hole, right? Yeah. Because you're trying to guess, right? And you don't have all the information. It's like someone told you, 1 plus something equals something. You don't have enough information to know the problem. You don't even know the problem yet to make a decision. And until you put the variables in place, you're not going to know if it's going to add up. So that's what's going to be really tough for you, is you got to get over that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's play a game. I got the keyword research thing pulled up too. I'm going to look into some stuff for you. I want to talk about that separately, but let's play a game. Like, so you have a job right now? You work right now, right? You're at work?
Yep.
Okay. And your partner has a job right now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, and you've dedicated enough time to apparently buy domains and build some things and do that, right? So in this last 4 years, you've been experimenting, you've been spending time on this, probably spent a little money on this. What's the worst thing that's happened? Nothing.
Nothing
right?
bad.
Nothing bad. All right. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So you just admitted, I've spent time and money on this and nothing bad's happened in 4 years. What's the difference in going a little farther down the rabbit hole? Like that's the worst case scenario is now.
Yeah.
Right. So when you look at it that way, like we actually, when we quit our job, said, what's the worst thing that can happen? The business stops working. In that case, we would go be teachers again. It wasn't so bad. There's not that, when we go down that rabbit hole, what's the worst thing that could happen? Maybe nobody does buy it. I don't know. Maybe they do. What if 1,000 waiters and waitresses jump into your community over the next year? Right. So it's not about what
I think I need to lean into that.
Yeah. Like it's not about
amazing.
It'd be amazing. Right. And like Jocelyn tells people all the time, I love it when she says this. They'll be like, but what if it doesn't work? And Jocelyn will like shake them and go, but what if it does? Like that's there's another side of that coin. And, worst case scenario is you have an answer. Right. So you got to lean into that. Now, what have you been searching for? This is a common problem that people get discouraged with, is when they do like, well, are people searching for this, right? But I want to stress to everybody listening into you, when we first looked up keywords for elementary librarian, we found less than 100 searches for anything library related. And then Jocelyn built a community of over 1,000 librarians all over the country active at the same time, right? Because she focused on other things besides what the keywords were telling them. She focused on the struggles, the pain points, she focused on grassroots networking, getting elementary librarians to tell other elementary librarians about elementarylibrarian.com, right? So like, what are you searching for that discourages you a little bit?
So, I search for words like how to upsell as a server, or how to be the best server, how to get a job in a restaurant, things like that.
Yeah. Like restaurant resumes. Have you ever looked up anything like that before?
Oh, no, I've never tried that.
See, if you find words that, let's see, it might not be restaurants. I'm looking for right now. Oh yeah. So so check this out. So all we have to do, we don't want to find the symptom even. We don't even want to find the words that we want them to look for. We have to find words they are looking for. Okay. So I just searched for restaurant resumes in the keyword research. Restaurant resumes is searched for 1,900 times a month. Server resume is searched for 6,600 times a month. Waitress resume, 2,900 times a month. Restaurant manager resume, server resume examples, 2,900 a month. These are things. Hostess resume, 1,600 a month. Maybe you have a mini course on how to go from hostess to waitress with the mostest.
Totally.
Right? Food service resume, restaurant server resume. I mean, waitress resume skills, 720 times a month. And these are extremely low competition things. Server skills for resume. So these are blog posts, right? These are things you would write about. One mistake that people make when they do their research is people look for things that they're going to put in their course. People look for things that they're going to teach. And remember, you're the doctor. You know the cure. All they know is the symptoms, right? And you have to think about the symptoms of your niche. Well, I'm a person who wants to get a better job at a nicer restaurant. What am I going to type in? Server resume, right? You know what I'm saying? I bet there's even other things too. Like, I bet you could look up like Outback waitress or something, like actual restaurants. Let me look at this. This is my superpower. That's what I do.
I know. That's why I need your help.
I know, right? So yeah, like Outback Steakhouse waitress server tips 40 times a month. Like, there's so many things. Like, you could do a blog post for every restaurant and it'd be the same blog post and nobody would know the difference, right? So you have to think like your avatar. So probably we need to back up a step here. Have you taken the avatar training in the community?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might need to go back through that, and you might need to really dial in who you're thinking about. I definitely think this could be open for anybody, but in your marketing, you're thinking, and you're trying to cast a big net, right? You want to cast every server, but you're thinking about like what's the result that they want. The result they want is to be the server that gets the big table, the server that gets the most tips, the server that gets the new job at the new really good restaurant in town, right? And that's the language you're going to use to kind of draw these people in. So this is definitely not necessarily, it's a content membership, and you're going to say, this is how you approach a table and upsell them, right? This is how you're going to ask them to buy another round of drinks. This is how you're going to ask them to get dessert on the menu. Even though they're stuffed, like stuff like that. But then the things they're looking for is, if I have 6,600 people and I have a free course on writing your resume, and the resume gets them the job, they're going to join the membership once they get the job. So maybe even your free path is like, I'm going to help people get new jobs, better jobs, learn how to do resumes, learn how to write their resumes. My job is to create servers for free, and then 20% of those people will join my membership, right? Like that's your mission. Okay. It's not necessary. And then maybe it's even like to give them a quick win, like a guaranteed tip to get you more tips at your next shift, right? And you give them one tip, like ask them to buy this drink that's $20 or something, I don't know. And if you can get someone a higher tip, they're going to come back for more. Okay. So these are your early results that people are going to be be looking at, I would also, all my free content, watch this. I'm going to type in waitress anxiety. I want to see this. Like, I think mindset public content would be a really big thing for you.
And I do love working on mindset stuff. So I would love to blend those two.
Well, what you do is
Here I am.
Yeah, for free. Yeah, now you're going down the rabbit hole with me. See, I'm pulling you in. I got the chain around your ankle and I jumped. So you got no choice. But I like the concept of that publicly in blog posts or even podcasts. Like, how do you work a double and come home and still have energy for your family? Like something like that, and like that's what you have to think about these. But then inside the community, they get to talk to you, and you're the mentor, right? You're like the waitress, waiter, mentor, server mentor, whatever. And they can say, oh man, this new guy on the shift, he's a knucklehead. He's, 16 years old and he thinks he knows everything and he's ignorant and immature. How do I deal with that? And then they get to talk to you about something like that, those specifics about their job.
Yeah.
But you can totally free publicly with all of this stuff. I'm looking server stress. Let's try that. I'm trying to find a word here. No, that's like servers. I'm about restaurant server stress. Because I'm sure people search for this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or even like
That's what I want.
Best shoes for a server. I bet somebody searches for that because they're on their feet all the time. Like
100%
best
they do.
shoes server. Let's see. This is, you got to think outside 1,000 times a month. Best shoes for waitresses. That's a blog post. You don't have to sell that information. Like all this stuff is free, and you're just trying to get them to join Wait Staff Wisdom. Is that what it's called? Wait Staff Wisdom.
Yep.
Yeah, like so that they can come in and feel connected, right? And this is a weird one though, for one reason. Servers have a clique. Sometimes people in a lot of industries feel alone. But servers, a restaurant's a weird dysfunctional family in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? So managing relationships in there, you're not really totally selling the community. You're selling a safe space outside. It's like having a crazy dysfunctional family and then you got your buddies you go talk about your family with, right? Like that's what you're trying to create in your community element. Like you're the mentor, but it's like a place where people can go vent, about their own place because they're sucked into that vortex of that world. I used to live with a server, so I kind of have an eye in this world a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But there's tens of thousands of things being searched for, And another cool thing, and I'm rambling here. I'm going to stop here in a second. But like there's all kinds of variants. You can write the same blog post 100 times with 100 different subjects, like best non-slip shoes for servers, best shoes for restaurant servers, best shoes for waitresses 2020. And you go review a bunch of shoes, Amazon clicks, right? And then Wait Staff Wisdom is you have the Wait Staff Wisdom community where people can join it and learn. And now that's the one where you're like, learn how to make more money as a server. Learn how to love your job as a server. That's the key. So once you get them in looking for shoes, you get them on the list for having more tips, and then you go down the rabbit hole with them for everything else. Does that make sense? Is that clear now?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Never be discouraged with keyword research. You got to think like them. What are they looking for, right? And you got plenty of things there. So okay, I love this idea. By the way, this is one of the most interesting ideas I've ever seen in the forums in the community. I think how many servers there are right now that are struggling with less tables because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Or they've lost their server job and they're trying to find another restaurant deal.
Right.
So there's probably a lot of people looking for I wonder if just restaurant jobs is a search. Let me look at this. I went
and I haven't worked in a restaurant for about a year. So a little bit like Jocelyn, I feel a little bit out of the loop. Like I haven't been involved in serving since this whole COVID thing.
I haven't been a football coach in 10 years, and I would pick up the dry erase marker and start drawing plays tomorrow if I thought I could make some money at it. Right.
Okay.
Because I still love football. You know what I'm saying? I still have a heart for the industry. I just don't do it all the time. Same thing with you. Right.
Yep.
It's called Wait Staff Wisdom. It's a person looking back at her server career and helping the next generation take the next step. Right.
Right.
Right. You got wisdom in the title, so it doesn't have to be perfect or anything like that.
That's true.
I do think it would be really cool if your courses, though, if you could do talking head and tell them like how to upsell a menu, but then like almost like find a restaurant friend and go in after hours and like stage it and be the server. That would be legit. Like people would love that,
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do. And then I thought that would organically bring up more topics too if I was actively serving, and I could do videos on my way home from my shift, like go into do lives or whatever it may be. It would just help me with content, but I don't want to use that as an excuse.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick up any shifts. I would totally stage it like a infomercial. Right. Yep. Like I would stage the courses and things, and you're going to get plenty of topics that come up, in Q&As. Right. So another rule that we have on businesses like this, when you're doing mentorship, this is really it's not really a coaching business. It's a weird one. It's a business opportunity because anytime you help people make more money, you can basically charge whatever you want. Right. Because you're just looking for the right people to join at this. Like if you can help someone get more than $100 a month in tips, I think this is a $99 a month membership. Okay.
And you just freaking awesome.
Yeah. And you just go, you could have I think you do have like maybe a lower tier, like maybe you have a $25 a month tier, or maybe that one just gets content, just gets a Facebook group, but it doesn't get there's almost like what would you call don't they call servers different at a what's it called, a maitre d', or is that the host? What's the
stuff like that? Yeah, that I'm not totally sure about that language, but yeah, maitre d' I think is like a host. I could be wrong.
I think that's like a host or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But like you could play with the language of the restaurant world and have two tiers.
Sure.
You could have the waiters and waitresses, but then you could have servers. I don't know if that's the right thing, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like there could be something like
I get what you're saying.
Like this is for people who work in really fancy restaurants, right? Like it's I don't know if you call it VIP or I don't know. We'll have to look that up. We'll figure that out, right? Okay. I don't know my fancy restaurant lingo because I'm not a fancy restaurant kind of guy. I'm more of a swing through Bojangles and maybe go to KFC for dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But bar and grill. I'm
a bar and grill guy. So if you could do that, it would look really cool because then people who are like working at Outback, Applebee's, chain restaurants, they'll clearly be like, yeah, $25 a month to make more tips. That's no brainer. Right. But then there's this $100 a month tier where it's like, does your average ticket, $400? Do you work at a fancy restaurant? I don't know what the exact language looks like, but I definitely think there's two tiers here. I don't know. It may just be 2 member calls actually is the only difference. Right. Because it's just a different group of people with different problems.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, if I'm making $1,000 a week on tips, I want the higher tier. I'm already doing 4. I want to do 10. Right. And that's just, how to be a salesperson. I think 2 tiers is where you go here for sure.
Okay.
And how many freaking waitresses are there and waiters in the world? Like how many, I'm going to Google that. Yeah. I'm going to look that up. How many? Yeah. This stuff. Well, it's more American because like overseas, they don't really tip and stuff, So you want to keep all your advertising probably to the United States. Okay. How many waitresses and waiters are there in the United States? Okay. There are 2.5 million waiters and waitresses in the United States alone, often working for low wages and customer tips. That's what this says right here. All you need is 100 of them to pay you $100 a month, and you make $10,000 a month, right?
Yes, please.
And then if you can get another 200 or 300 to pay you $25 a month, that becomes the floor, right?
Okay.
So you've got these 2 tiers. The floor is the lower tier, and the higher tier is the higher serving staff. And all you're doing is working as a filter between the 2 groups, right? Right, because again, the person at Applebee's who's dealing with the drunk knucklehead on Friday night is probably different than the person at, what's it called? What's that? Ruth Chris Steakhouse, where everything on the menu is $100 and it's just arrogant rich people buying that stuff, right? Like,
okay, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That's why you put the line up because you know how it is culturally. I bet the people that work at the nice place in New York City, kind of look down on the people who are working the other job somewhere else. Like, you know what I'm saying? And some people don't even have that restaurant in their town. Like there's a cultural difference between those two settings.
Sure. I never even thought of that.
For sure. It's
as
not
far
the
as
same
marketing goes, but yeah.
Totally different. Yeah. It's high ticket versus low ticket. It's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. A high ticket upsell for me is $5,000. I gotta, that's a whole different conversation than renew your membership next month. Right. You know, so expectations, but I don't see, this could be huge. There's no reason you can't. There's 2.5 million people in the market. You need 100. Need 100.
Yeah.
That's all you need, right?
Okay, awesome. So the one thing that freaks me out is I get stuck like being seen. So, you know, I think it's the same thing everybody else deals with, like the, what do you call it? The imposter syndrome, which is stupid because I know how to do this. Yeah. But I don't, you know, there's just that little voice that's like, somebody's going to laugh at this, but I just can't let that stop me from getting 100 people to pay me $100. That's what I need to focus
It's ridiculous.
on.
Yeah. It is a fear that's fairly ridiculous. Right.
Yeah.
But it's also probably the most common fear. Like, who am I? You know, and also too, there's a vulnerability to it, right? Like everything we say and everything we see in the world that we put on social media these days, somebody's going to have to chime in and tell you how, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's hard even to put ourselves out there in this thing. Like I posted the other day on Instagram. Here, I'll piss somebody off today. Why not? I'll just make the audience mad. Here we go. You ready? So I was on Instagram the other day and I went to a wedding. And the wedding was, it was social distance from a capacity standpoint. But it was, we all basically took our masks off. We were all family and friends. And you know what? We said, tonight's worth the risk. We danced and we ate dinner and we celebrated a glorious occasion for one night. We wore masks before the ceremony, but during the ceremony and at the reception, it was definitely not properly socially distanced the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all work our, you know, we back up, we go forward, we whatever, but you know, everybody was mingling and we had a really, really, really amazing time. And it was it was gloriously happy, you know, and to me, in my choices, that was totally worth the risk for that one night. Right. And everybody in that room, from, you know, my 79-year-old dad to the, you know, 17-year-old kid or whatever, we all made choices to be there. You know what I'm saying? We all made choices to be there. Everybody we're going to choose this. I posted that on Instagram. Oh man, I got destroyed. Like, hey, how dare you? You're so selfish. I can't believe you would post this and hurt other people's feelings who, you know, may be dealing with this or whatever. I mean, just, you know, I got everything. And then I had other people like, yes, no fear. Like, you know, we got to be careful. We got to take care of each other, but we also have to live life. And all I posted was a picture that I went to a wedding to celebrate with somebody, and it brought down the thunder, you know? And if you can post a picture about a happy occasion like that, and this wedding had been postponed 4 times because of the coronavirus pandemic. So we were just like celebrating we finally got there, right? For these 2 kids in our family, you know? But if that calls down the thunder, what happens when you start giving advice? These are the best shoes. No, they're not. This is the best shoe. You're terrible. You're stupid. You shouldn't be giving shoe advice, right? And then, you know, this is how you get an upsell on a dessert. No, it's not. You're stupid. You don't understand. Who needs help being why does somebody need coaching for a server? I'd never pay for that. Well, that's not your customer.
Okay, then, right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it. I totally get that. But that's the nature of the world we live in. And the faster you can accept, so there's going to be a lot of people don't like it. I could be carrying orphans out of a war zone on my back, and somebody in this day and age would criticize me on social media for doing it. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. So if we accept that, then we focus on the people that do need our help. Like, what if you help 100 servers add 20% to their monthly thing and their kids have better school clothes? What if you help somebody, you know, give themselves a raise just from your upsell tips, and they get to upgrade their car and they don't have to worry about their transportation anymore? Like, that's infinitely more valuable than those people that are going to come at you and criticize you. And I'll tell you this too. Here's another thing I had to accept, because I got an ego, right? And I have to fight my ego at all times. there are a lot of people that are smarter than me about business. And they are they are going to look at me and not like what I do, you know, but there's a lot of people who are less experienced just starting out that really need my help. And I can't let the fact, there's always a bigger fish. I can't let that fact stop me from helping the people that I can reach back and help. Right. And, and I would say somebody out there really, really needs this right now, to help them. So.
Thanks. Yeah, those are great points.
Yeah. Now, all this doesn't matter if you don't do it. This is a great discussion we're having here in your car at lunchtime.
Right.
You know, but like, I think that you have to eventually cross the threshold, right? Yeah. And you've got to go in on this, and you have to commit to it. And I would really recommend for you to commit to it for at least a year. Like, you can't let these other ideas keep stopping you from doing one of the ideas, right? And you know, sometimes we say test an idea for 3 months, 6 months, whatever. But I mean, I think you need to just go into this and say, I have to pick this idea, and for the next 9 to 10, 12 months, I'm going to try it and see what happens.
Okay.
Because you got to build a following. I mean, this is not something that's going to happen overnight. You're going to need 20, 30 blog posts to start getting traction on these words. Sure. Start a free Facebook group for waiters and waitresses to try to get some people talking about this stuff, you know? What kind of content do you want to create?
They would be videos for sure. I was thinking YouTube would probably be my platform. That's where I would go if I was going to search for some upselling tech tips on serving and stuff like that. So I was thinking mostly videos, and then I know from listening to you guys that those can pretty easily be transcribed into blog posts and different things.
Yeah, it's almost faster and cheaper though, just to write a quick 3-paragraph summary. Okay. To be honest with you, like by the time you upload the thing and get the transcript back and read through it and paste it in, we've actually went we like transcripts. I think it's a great way to get more keywords in. But, you know, I mean, it's just so quick if you're going to stay on YouTube and you're just trying to blog about this stuff, you embed the YouTube video, write 3 paragraphs about what the video is about. And it works just as fine. And it's less, it's just less mess. It's less stuff to keep up with at the beginning. Right?
And so I have started a Facebook group.
What's it called?
So then it's called Tips Up. I think for servers, waitresses, hosts. I forget exactly the words. I tried to get a bunch in there, but it's Tips Up is like the beginning part of it for servers. See it?
Does it have like 92 members? No, that's fingernail tips. Hold on. Hospitality. No, I wouldn't call it this. I would call it like that's not what people are searching for. You know, I would call it like they're looking like I would call it like I don't know. I would call it something like servers, waiters, and waitresses support group, right? Like
and so there are a lot of those already, but I guess
not yours. Gotta have yours.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? All they got to do is nobody else knows that. They just got to find you first. You know what I'm saying? So if I type in servers and then I go to groups.
So it's tips up for restaurant wait staff is what I put.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Okay.
And not because you're doing anything wrong. It's just like, I don't think people are looking for that. Like, you know, like some of the, like most, let's see, I'm looking for the biggest ones. Like, let's see, how many people are in this one? They don't tell you how many people are in them for. Let's see. This one has 105,000 members. It's just called Servers, Bartenders, and Restaurant Staff. That's it. That's the name of it, right? So it's straightforward. Like there's nothing, like how about, would bartenders be involved in this, or you're just talking about food, the waiters?
Yeah, I could do bartenders.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of keeping it at the server level, though, to make yourself stand out.
Yeah, that's definitely where my specialty is. I've bartended some, but it's not my strong suit.
Yeah, it's just like that other client you took on Shopify. It's outside the scope.
Right.
Okay, saying no is as important as saying yes. Right. Okay. So I would think something like, servers, waiters, and waitresses who want more tips. Or not maybe that's not even right. Or, I don't know. We got to work on this, but you need to get it like. Think how people would search. If I'm a waiter, I'm going to search for waiters Facebook group, waitresses Facebook group, servers. What are all the words they could use right? And see, I don't like
Yep.
that. Like this one, servers, bartenders, and all restaurant staff. They could be cooks in there, custodians, bathroom attendants, who knows, right? Like we
Right.
want to make sure we're only drawing in the right people. And I think by putting tips in it, you're getting to, some people might not be looking just for tips. They just want to be happier.
Yeah.
They just want to be heard and be supported. So we gotta go back and really define the results we're trying to give. Like, what are the big 3 benefits and results? Who are the people that we want in there? Maybe the waiters and waitresses don't want to hang out with those bartenders who get all the money. Maybe they don't want to hang out with the cooks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the cooks don't want to hang out with the waiters, right? So we want to make sure we create an inclusive environment for the exact avatar. So we'll follow those. We need to research these groups and figure out what yours is going to be called. And then focus on it. You know what I'm saying? Another avenue you could go to is you could go all women, right? Like a safe place for waitresses and whatever, right? Support group. Waitresses, all women support group or something, you know?
Yeah.
That's a great way to niche down, right? Because I'd say out of that 2.5 million, I would guess 2 million are women. I would say there's more women than men in the waiter and server industry. Okay, so good. So we're kind of nailed down the rabbit hole here.
Okay.
I do love this idea. I think we've established that there's plenty of keywords. I mean, you got stuff for days you can write about. The best pen to carry in your back pocket, whatever. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that you have a confidence here in this subject matter, right? How long have you been a server? How many years total you think you've been a server?
20.
Yeah, anybody with less than 20 years experience, you win.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, that's probably most of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we set up a 2-tiered membership with the same content but different member calls, right?
That's awesome.
And different areas to talk in, you know. And then you create one big Facebook group for, you know, just to pull in waitresses or servers, and we build it out. So the next steps are refine that avatar a little more, okay? And we need to establish a content strategy once we get your product built, and then you have to commit to doing this and getting it out there for a few months, okay? Yeah. I can't help you do that. Only you can do that.
Nope. Right.
So, but nothing's going to happen if you do it. You're fine. Try it out.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's a matter of just turning on the camera and making the videos, and
that's exactly right.
Just doing it.
Yeah, and all you need is those first. Outlined. How many videos do you think they're going to be?
It's been a little while since I looked at my outline, but I think I've already got like more than 15 ideas for videos.
Yeah, that's more than enough. Like you really probably need about 5 to start with, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you need to think of it in months, like the first 5 months as a server, like, or of a server, like, all right, the first thing you've got to do is get people to order not water or something. Like, you know, what's your best upsell opportunity? That's the first thing, right? And they practice that for a month. Like, we're going to raise your tips in 1 month by just focusing on the drinks. Then we're going to focus on recommending higher expensive meals. And then whatever it is in your process, we need to narrow that down. Like, so month 1 is, you know, your tips are going to go up. And then the next one is the next thing. And the next one is how to be the server that gets the biggest tables, right?
Yeah.
You know, like impressing your manager kind of deal. You know?
Yeah. I had one idea. I don't know if this would be like a sales webinar idea, but basically showing how much more money you could make just by offering dessert. So then I kind of go through this whole thing where if a dessert is $7 and it's a table of 4, you know, and kind of the average amount of time people say yes. And so then counting all that up and translating it into the amount of extra tips you would get per week and per month, it's so much money.
Yeah.
And just kind of demonstrating that it's like a numbers game. This is sales, you know, and how to just offer things confidently, not be pushy, things like that.
And the key there is, I would not present that like that because you've actually told them how to do it. What I would say, and this is for everybody out there listening to this, you have to show them what to do, right? So what you do is you would say, all right, listen, imagine this. Imagine if every single person that came in your restaurant, every table that you had, imagine if all of their bills were 20% higher. And then that would translate into you getting 20% more tips. That means that if you make $1,000, you get an extra $200. Well, what it now times that by 52 weeks. Look how much more money you've got in your bank account, right? So I didn't tell you how to make those tickets higher, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now they have to join to learn that. I will teach you how to make your tips go up by 20%, by this go blah, 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 whatever. Like that's how you sell that, right? You never teach the how on a webinar. You teach the what to do, right?
Okay.
That could be a lead magnet. Lead magnets can teach how, because if you can get, like, I would focus the lead magnet on something even simpler. Like, you know, every table this week offer an alcoholic beverage, right? Like something little, they're like, oh my gosh, that worked. More people took the drinks, right? So, but it's not enough to change their life. They got to go down the rabbit hole with you more. Okay.
Right.
So you teach the what, not the how. The concept is good. Here's how to make your tickets bigger. But then that's a module is, all right, presenting desserts as an upsell. Right.
Okay.
Like ask them early in the meal, not at the end, because they'll be stuffed and they'll say no. Right. Or, you know, halfway through, let me get that dessert ready for you before you eat all the bread. Right.
Right.
Like that's how you do that part. You know what I'm saying? Inside the community. Okay. Well, listen, this was a great conversation. I really do like this idea. Huge market. People are searching for stuff. You've got the chops. You're anybody with less than 20 years experience is your customer. Right.
Okay.
That's probably only 1.5 million people, you know,
Right.
And I think you can have two really good tiers here, and you can create something pretty special and probably help a lot of people, you know.
Okay.
And
yeah, I love the idea of doing the 2 tiers. I hadn't thought of that, and yeah.
All right,
perfect.
cool. So like, let's talk about action steps here in the next 24 hours. What are you going to take action on to commit and jump into this rabbit hole? No turning back. What's your next step, do you think?
So I'm going to niche down on my avatar. I'm going to change the name of the Facebook group. I'm going to kind of do a little bit more research around that, change the name of that, and I'm going to record, so in 24 hours. So those 2 things, and then I'm going to look back at my list and choose which video I'm going to record first.
Love it. I love it. And I got one more thing that I'm going to kind of challenge you to do. What are you hosting your website on?
WordPress.
On WordPress. And who's your host? Is it like Bluehost, HostGator, or whatever?
Yeah, Bluehost. Yep.
Okay. Are you paying monthly for Bluehost?
Nope, I prepaid annually.
Okay. Did you prepay annually for the domain name too?
Yes.
Okay. I was gonna challenge you to commit to a year of that one thing, right? And make sure you do that. So you're already doing that. I would really love for you to turn the other websites completely off. Like burn the boats. Like just turn them off. Now they're not there. They're not taking up mental space. Like now you've prepaid for a year. So I'm in this for a year, and you turn off everything else. Just turn it all off. It doesn't matter anymore. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. Even that one client's not going to know if you turn that other website off. Right. Like just say, I am not doing this. I am doing this, and commit to it. And let's see where it takes us. Okay.
Okay.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right, Anna. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on the show today, being transparent. I know it's hard to talk about your fears, but hey, this conversation probably just helped a lot of people jump in their own rabbit hole and commit to the process. And I really appreciate you for coming on and talking to me today.
I really appreciate you guys too. Thanks so much, Shane.
All right, guys, that wraps up my conversation with Anna. Man, what a great idea. I've never even heard anyone do that. And man, when you do the research and you do it correctly, when you see how many people are in that audience and you see how many people need this help, and when you get over those fears like imposter syndrome and you realize, I do have a God-given talent. I do have God-given experience that I can go out and help other people with through my online business. It can really set a fire in your heart to go out and make that thing successful. I know that conversation today helped a lot of people out there who are struggling with those same issues. You're on the edge of the rabbit hole, but you can't jump in. Maybe you've got the imposter syndrome, but now you know you do have the information and the things people need to go out there and help other people with your online business. And we want to help you jump in that rabbit hole. We will grab your hand and we will jump in the rabbit hole with you. And just like we helped Anna today, we will help you inside the Flip Your Life community. You know, that idea that Anna put out there, we talked about it on a member call. We talked about it in the Flip Your Life community forums, and that's what led to our discussion Today, we wanted to help her flesh that idea out. We wanted to help her figure out which rabbit hole to jump in, commit to it, and go forward. And we want to help you do the same thing. If you'd like a 30-day free trial inside of the Flip Your Life community, new members can sign up right now at flippedlifestyle.com/free. So get off the treadmill if you're at the gym, pull your car over on the side of the road and go to flippedlifestyle.com/free and start your 30-day free trial today. You can go in and you can work through our idea training so you can settle in on your idea. You can look at our avatar training and you can figure out that perfect customer that is going to join your membership, and you can start building an online business where you go out and get 100 people to pay you $50 a month, to make $60,000 a year, or 200 people to give you $120,000 a year. And you can build a sustainable online income to give your family a better future. That's flippedlifestyle.com/free. We would love to have you inside of the community with us and Anna today. All right, guys, that is about all the time we have for this week. But before we go, we love to share a Bible verse at the end of every Flipped Lifestyle podcast. Jocelyn and I get a lot of our inspiration and motivation from the Bible. There is so much stuff in there about business and, of course, life that you can just go through it forever and keep finding those golden nuggets that are going to help you keep moving forward. And we've got an awesome Bible verse to share it with you today. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established." You know, the Bible says the Lord loves commitment, and that's what we were talking about today. All Anna really needed to do was commit to a path. And if you commit to the path and you work at it with all your heart, eventually good things will happen. Be consistent and be committed to a path. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Guys, we know people who make their full-time living online, and we know millionaires in every space you can imagine. Some people are podcasters, some people are YouTubers, some people are doing this, but the difference is the thing that they all do is they commit that work to that work, and they keep moving forward. And if you'll do that too, if you'll commit to a path and you'll go at it with everything you got, your plans will be established too. All right, guys, that is all the time we have for this week. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and go leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or follow us over on Spotify. And until next time, get out there, take action, and do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Cool. That's a good chat.
Mm-hmm.
I think we solved some problems there, Anna.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Love it. Awesome stuff. One more thing before we go. Thank you so much for listening to the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast. If you love the Flipped Lifestyle Podcast, if we bring a little joy and a little happiness and we bring some knowledge into your life every single week, could you do us a favor? Go to Apple Podcast and hit subscribe. Download a few of the podcast episodes onto your phone. Apple's algorithm loves seeing downloads, and it loves seeing those subscribes. And please leave us an honest review over on Apple Podcasts. That'll help us grow the show, expand the mission, and reach more people so that we can help them change their family's future as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.